He said if you want to be a delivery man, you have to grasp some tricks and skills. Number one is that when he was taking some food from restaurant, he found he is the first to come, but the last to take food. But compared with other food delivery men, when they are arriving at the restaurant, the food are already ready for him, and they will just take them. It is unnecessary for others to wait for so long. And then he developed that and found that it is important to make a good relationship with service woman for special care, and they will make your food quicker and get it ready for you. And the second point is that he found if the restaurant is set up in a shopping mall and it is high, you have to take the lift. Okay, just do not be gentlemen, you have to, and he had to jam himself into the lift, and there is no lady first rules. If it is late or your delivery is late and you have to pay the penalty for your overtime delivery, and he will be punished, and that is the last thing he wants to see. Just a month later, he had already fully accustomed himself to the new industry, and he began to know the industry. After sending his daughter to school, he will work as a delivery man for 2 hours during the morning rush hour, and the order prices are relatively low during the morning rush hours, and after the closing time, in the evening, he will continue to send foods for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, and during that time, the order prices are relatively high, and he will deliver almost 20 orders per day, and that is a common phenomenon for him, and he could earn 3,000 yuan to 4,000 yuan per month. Maybe that is over 100 yuan per day as a food delivery, and that is his current situation. And his food delivery part-time job is closely related with his apartment brokerage firm. If he is busy with apartment selling at the firm, okay, his time for food delivery is relatively short. Well, if the apartment sales and its performance is stigma, or there's no one want to watch, or no one want to visit your apartment, he will spend more time to send those foods. And after all, he will spend 1 day in a month to take care about his child, and he is still caring about his family. He said, as a food delivery man is not suitable for all brokers, and one of his workmates just worked as a food delivery man for 1 month, and finally he could not accept such great pressure, and he changed his profession to be an online car hailing driver, and he could still earn RMB 3,000 to RMB 4,000 per month, but he has to work more tiredly, and from the company's closing time to 12 o'clock p.m. That is very tiring for him. And as far as he knows, lots of poverty brokers began to found another job or a part-time job, such as selling insurance product or to sell some bank loan products. And for all those jobs, they are passive, and their major job is still to sell property or an apartment. And now they have to reluctantly accept the fact because the performance is in great depression in the property selling industry, and although it is a part-time job, it is a job and it could still help them to make bread and butter for their family, and that maybe that is the final job for middle-aged men. If you cannot find a job for your lower education level or you are a middle-aged man. That is the fact in China. Mr. Zhang also said that to the journalist after the Supreme Festival of 2014, okay, Mr. Zhang began his career in poverty selling with his relatives, with one of his relatives, and it was a very good time because during that period, the school district housing is well sold and its price is relatively high, and it is quite easy to earn money. School district housing means the apartment near a school, and the parents want to send their children to a better school to accept better education. They have to live or they have to own a property surrounding the school, and then they will be accepted by the primary school. And that is a specialty in China, especially in its education field. At the very beginning, he was just an assistant to his relatives, and when his relative was busy with other clients, he will independently run business and introduce apartment to his own clients. And just half a year later, he had grown to be a qualified real estate broker, and he had already learned and grasped some deep knowledge about the industry. And during his first year career, his performance was fantastic. He said he earned over 100,000 per year in 2014, and he was extremely satisfied about his job and his income. And he said it is also easy to make money in the field. In 2014 and 2015, that is a decade ago, has already become a history. At that time, the property market was still promising and prosperous. The property industry is in the fast development lane, and he has gradually become an independent broker, and he began his business in two fields. The one is that the first part is that he is engaged in some new apartment and second-hand apartment in Beijing, and the second business is that he will take care of business or to sell some houses surrounding Beijing, and he has already set his footprint in Hebei province. In 2016, his commission has already reached over 1 million yuan, and 2016 is the best year in his whole life. He just remembered so well. The time changed and the situation changed. As of the beginning of 2017, the property market in China, especially the region surrounding Beijing, began to become stagnant after the government releasing the purchase limitation policies. And that is a great impact to the real estate speculations, because some people just want to buy those apartments and they are not planning to live in those apartments. When they will buy those apartments at a lower price and sell them at a higher price, and that is the speculation. And they want to earn more money by the speculation in property market, and the government soon found the problem. Then their action was stopped, and so it cooled down the whole property market. And until now, we could still see the downward projection in the property market, and its impact still continues. So Mr. Zhang began to change his focus to the new apartment and second-hand apartment in Beijing, and he has to cut his business in Hebei province. And he had already noticed that at that time the performance in real estate market is changing, and it began to be sluggish. It began to be sluggish, and at that time his commission was still 100,000 per year, yuan per year, and it is still acceptable. In the middle of 2018, he bought a small-sized apartment with a bungalow, and he had already set his family, set his home in Beijing, began his new life in Beijing. And he thought it was okay, maybe the situation will become better in the years to come. And he bought the apartment because he is the broker to the region. He has better knowledge about the real estate market, and he knows the market projection at that time about the price, and even he could obtain some inside information. And after working as an apartment broker in Beijing for several years, he began to buy his own house, and he made a great achievement in his life. 2018, he has already remembered the year, and he will never forget that. And then he will continue to be a broker. He has already noticed the change, but he was unwilling to make any change because he thought it will be getting better. But in the second half of 2021, the property industry has already entered its deep adjustment period, and the sales of new apartment is stagnant, and the whole industry is paying the special attention to the second-hand apartment, and so he began to pay high attention to that part too, and that is a great change he has already noticed. At the end of 2023, the trending over of both new apartment and second properties are extremely low. So we have already known that the outbreak of COVID-19 epidemic in 2020, and there was an extreme containment control and provisions against the coronavirus during 3 years, 2020, 2021, and 2022. It was a horrible memory to all Chinese people, and lots of companies become bankrupted, and lots of people lost their jobs. Their income is cut, so they have not enough money to buy new apartment. And in 2024, Mr. Zhang's commission was seriously curtailed, and his annual income is lower than 200,000 yuan per year. While he could describe the expectation in 2025 as gloomy and stagnant, it is quite difficult for him to imagine it. From that time on, he and his wife began to be anxious about their future life and children's education, and there are lots of things they are caring about.